So I uploaded a video fairly recently where I talk about the realities of going viral on social media. And a lot of you shared some really interesting thoughts on that video. One thing that really stuck with me was the fact that a lot of you had previously been aiming to go viral. Like that was kind of your strategy. You want to get that viral reel, you want to blow up, and then like everything's going to change and your life is going to be incredible and blah, 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 right? And after realizing that, I realized there needs to be a sequel to that video, right? This is like the part 2 of that original video where I'm going to talk about why you should not be trying to go viral on social media. Specific focus on Instagram, but this is applicable to all social media channels. So before we get to it, if you like content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications because I upload content like this every single week. So the first point I want to make here is that viral content does not equal success. So I think there's this general consensus that if you share a reel on Instagram and it blows up, you get like millions and millions of followers, and you know, Barack Obama is messaging you being like, oh my God, great reel, and life is amazing, right? There's this idea that when that happens, everything changes and you suddenly just start earning loads of money and you suddenly start making a huge impact on the world and you know, you get all this immediate success. When the actual reality is that the people who get success from viral content are people who have built a business behind their content. So it looks like they just blew up and they had this overnight success and suddenly everything started to work out for them. When in actual fact, they've probably been working on this business for multiple years. And because of that time they spent working on this business, they've probably created a product that they sell on their Instagram page. Maybe they've already released a service or a membership, or they've got something that they offer to their audience of value that they can earn money from. Like maybe they already have an email list. So maybe they've already started to build a list of email addresses of their audience so that they can contact their audience and market to their audience as well. So maybe they've spent all of this time setting up the business side of their content creator career, right? And because of that, when they've blown up and had that super viral post, it's powered all of the work that they've done previously, and it's meant that they're actually able to see loads of success, not just from a monetary standpoint, but also maybe they're making bigger impacts in their audience's lives as well. So we often don't see all that other stuff that people are doing behind the scenes, right? And I know that stuff can sound daunting and overwhelming. If you need help setting up the business side of your content creation career, drop me a DM on Instagram with the word ready and we can chat about how we can work together. I can share some resources with you, etc. But the point I'm trying to make here is that going viral on Instagram does not actually equal any long-standing success. The most that you will get from going viral on Instagram, if you haven't set all this stuff up and if you have no desire to set all this stuff up, is you will potentially get some money from Instagram's Reels bonus. And it might be a couple £100, it might even be a couple thousand, but it won't compare to what you could have made if you had set up a business beforehand, or if you make a point to set up the business elements immediately afterwards. Now, the other thing I want to talk about here is to do with your mindset on social media and on Instagram, because the truth is a lot of people go viral, they get a lot of exposure, they maybe even grow their audience quite a bit, and then they immediately retreat from social media because the impact that that can have on your mindset and also your mental health can be incredibly detrimental. From a personal standpoint, I remember finding it incredibly exposing, and I still sometimes do find it very exposing when my content does well. I know how weird that sounds. If I've got a video, like I had a video on TikTok, which last time I checked it was on like 3 million views, right? And when that started to pick up beyond like the 500,000 view mark, I suddenly was like, you start to think to yourself, oh my God, there are so many people who are watching this video. And for some people, for a lot of people, it can feel incredibly exposing, a bit uncomfortable. That is a normal reaction to have to millions of people seeing you and listening to what you're saying. Like most people never experience that in their lifetime, at least before social media. Most people didn't experience that in their lifetime. So it's totally normal for us to feel a bit awkward and want to retreat as a result of that. Now, I don't know how I would handle a video doing that well if I hadn't had my couple years of experience of having other content which had done well. Granted, never as much as 3 million views, but having YouTube videos that have received hundreds of thousands of views, having other content that had received a decent amount of views, slowly experiencing more and more exposure, like in bits and pieces, you know, hitting your first 1,000, then hitting your first 100,000. Experiencing exposure and virality in that sense really helps you become accustomed to this feeling of people watching you and this feeling of loads of people seeing your content, you can slowly get more and more used to it, so that when the time comes where you have that incredibly viral piece of content, yes, you will probably still feel a bit uncomfortable like I did, but you can handle it. You can take that feeling on, understand what that feeling is, and still progress and still continue to make content and be okay with it. And that is even more the case when it comes to hate comments. Guys, when you go viral, it quite literally means that your content is being pushed out to people beyond your current audience, which means it will reach people who do not like you, they don't like your niche, they don't like anything. Like, you are going to reach those people. They will voice the fact that they don't like something about you. Like, it's just the nature of social media and also the internet. Now, if you are not used to that, right? And it's what an awful thing for us to have to get used to. But if you're not used to that and you suddenly get this viral piece of content that absolutely blows up and you start getting a lot of hate comments, it can be very difficult to deal with. Like, processing the fact that people are going out of their way to leave really mean, a lot of the time unnecessary, untrue comments and opinions on you and your life choices, how you look, all of that stuff. If you're not used to it, that can be very difficult to process for a lot of us, not for everyone, but for a lot of us, right? So that's just another thing that can be overcome if we don't rush this idea of going viral, and instead we just work on creating better content, which gets more and more views, and we become more and more accustomed with the negative people in the world who are going to spread awful, disgusting things, because, I mean, let's face it, what else have they got going on? Another thing to note here is that you actually don't need to go viral. A lot of people attach this meaning to going viral. They think, okay, I'm gonna go viral and the business that I'm running or my ability to work with brands is going to skyrocket, right? And that's kind of linked to the first point that I made as well. But the truth is, you can start making sales for your business, you can start working with brands long before you get that viral post, long before you wake up to 30,000 new followers. You can start doing those things. The trick is that you need to learn how to create good content, and when you learn how to create good content which lands with your audience, brands will want to work with you. When you learn how to create good content that your audience values, people will want to invest in your company, people will want to purchase the product or the service that you're offering. And a lot of the time we use this idea of, well, I've not gone viral yet or I've not blown up yet, as like a comfort blanket. So we've got goals that we want to hit with our Instagram pages, but we tell ourselves, oh, well, the reason we've not hit those goals is because we haven't got that viral post. And if we just keep on trying to get that viral post, when we get it, everything will work out. That is a cop-out. We are putting up these barriers in our mind. We're resting on those barriers as this lovely warm blanket to tell us, you're doing great. It's not your fault you've not gone viral yet. It's gonna happen, right? Let's get rid of that blanket. As much as I love blankets, let's get rid of it. And instead, let's take more control. So yeah, things might change when you go viral, great. But let's focus on how we can improve our content now and how we can actually go after the things that we're trying to achieve through social media now with the following that we currently have. Like, let's just take action from today. God, that turned into such a motivational speech. So final point here is that micro improvements to your content is really something that I've been running with this year, and also something that I've been working with a lot of my clients to try and develop, because I really feel like this is your key to seeing success on social media. And note that when I say success, I'm not talking about like gaining loads and loads of followers. What I'm talking about is reaching the goals that you've set. And your goals should never just be like, I want to have 10,000 followers. Your goals should be like, I want to build a community, or your goals should be, I want to work with brands. You know, you want to have a deeper goal than just numbers. Like, what do we need loads of followers for if there's not a deeper goal behind that? So in order for us to make movements towards those types of goals, what we actually need to do is make a commitment to improve our content in a tiny little way, little micro improvements, every single time we sit down to produce something. So if you're in the fashion niche and you create really cool reels, why don't you challenge yourself to try a different transition in your next reel? And the first time you try it, it won't be perfect. So okay, the next time you try it, tweak it a bit. Look at your last one, see how you can make that transition better, and implement what you need to implement in order to improve it, right? Like, there are small things that we can always tweak, and a lot of the time they are absolutely tiny. But if you get 1% better, I'm sure there's a theory, I'm sure I've read this somewhere. So apologies if you are the author or the thought leader who came up with this concept and I'm just butchering it. But if we improve our content by 1% every single time we sit down to create some content, within a year, not even a year, but within a year at a maximum, our content will be dramatically better than it was this time last year. Dramatically better, because we're just improving our content by 1% every single time. How manageable does that feel? How much more actionable does that commitment feel than trying to go viral? Which, let's be real, is very difficult to control your ability to go viral. We can control our ability to create better content, but we cannot control how the algorithm is going to take our content. We can understand it, we can make changes to ensure that our content reaches as many people as possible and people engage with it, yeah, but we can't sit down and be like, oh, I'm going to pull this lever and then I'm going to go viral. And anyone who tells you that, it's not true. You can't do that. It's just not how it works. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really, really hope it helps you tweak your mindset ever so slightly when it comes to your desires to going viral. If you enjoyed this video, I really recommend watching this one. It's all about the major updates which have come to Instagram's platform recently. There are some serious ones in there, like some really good ones as well. So I really recommend you watch that video so you stay in the loop. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I can't wait to see you in my next video.